Hello everyone and welcome to a new series we are starting on this channel today. I'm really excited for this. This is gonna be wild. Today we are watching Fate Zero. Now there's a lot of context I have to give before we start this thing, because I feel like if I don't talk about this at the top, I'm gonna get some comments. I think I'm gonna get some comments about this stuff anyway. But please just listen to the opening of this so that you know all the context of what I'm watching and why I'm watching it going into this. But this show is going to be replacing Gurren Lagann on this channel. My kind of thinking behind that was that Gurren Lagann was a show that I had heard a lot about and always wanted to watch for a long time because I'd heard it referenced so much. For a while, so I finally watched it and I finished it and I liked it a lot, and now I'm moving to another series that I've heard about for a long time and heard it referenced a lot and have always been curious about it, so now I want to check it out, and that is the Fate series. Now the Fate series, there's a lot to it as far as I'm concerned. Like, I believe it was originally visual novels, and then there's been so many different little things coming off of it and spin-offs and shows and all of that. So what we're doing is we're watching the Ufotable shows, okay? Ufotable are an amazing company. I like Demon Slayer, but what I love about Demon Slayer is the animation of Demon Slayer is fucking impeccable. So Ufotable are, like, I can already tell, incredible. I mean, Demon Slayer is one of the most beautiful anime I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen in my life in general. So I am really excited to jump into the Fate series because I know it's being done by Ufotable. Now, here's where things get dicey because I'm sure people have their own opinions on, like, how much you should watch, where you should start, what version you should watch, all of that stuff, okay? Especially if you're a big fan of the Fate series, I can understand being passionate. And I love when you're passionate about a series. All I ask is that if you are passionate about the series, please just celebrate the fact that I'm going to be experiencing it in a way that I think I will enjoy the most. So that is the number one priority, is for me to get an experience that I prefer. So, because of that, today we are watching Fate Zero. I've never seen any of the Fate series. I did do a reaction video on all of the Fate openings, and you can check that out somewhere on my channel, I think. Hopefully it wasn't taken down by copyright at some point. I'm not sure. But at some point, I did do a reaction to all of the Fate openings, including, like, spin-offs and other series. And I really, really liked them. Had a great time with them. But I've never watched the shows. I've never played any of the games. So, Fate Zero. Here's the thing. So, I know there's Fate Zero and there's Fate Unlimited Blade Works. And I know that Fate Zero is a prequel to Unlimited Blade Works. And so, there's a lot of sort of split opinions online on, like, what's the best thing to start for different kinds of people and, like, what's the watch order. And I did research into this, and there's, like, there's lots of opinions, heavy opinions back and forth on these. Here's my thinking, and this is the reason I'm going into it the way that I'm going into it. I understand that by watching Fate Zero first, I am likely going to be missing out on certain reveals. There will probably be some reveals that I will have technically spoiled for me by watching Fate Zero first. But the series was released, in terms of the Ufotable shows, was released in this order. It was released Fate Zero first, and then Unlimited Blade Works. I am watching it in release order. That is my my goal right now. My main reasoning for this is I want to watch it as if these shows were new and were just coming out. How would I have watched it then? And that's how I would have watched it. I would have watched Fate Zero as it was coming out first, and then I would have watched Unlimited Blade Works many years later when that came out. And I believe since they released it in that order, they also, I'm going to be guessing, at the very least tried to have that be a valuable and a genuine way that you can experience the series. And they would have tried to make it so that new viewers who don't know the Fate series can watch it in that order. That's my main reason, my 90% reason. I understand not everyone's gonna agree with that, but that's my main reason. And we're not changing it now. I'm already starting Fate Zero today. Like, it's kind of useless to try to argue the point. But the other reason, and this is a smaller reason, but it is a reason, is I prefer sequels to prequels. So, my thinking is, on top of the release order thing, I think I'd enjoy the series less watching a series and then going back in time and watching a series about, because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a prequel. So, I feel like I'd prefer watching it, what happened in the past first, and then what happens later afterwards. I think I'm going to prefer that because that's the way that I enjoy stories more often. Obviously, there are exceptions. Better Call Saul is one of my favorite shows of all time, and that is a prequel series. And obviously, I wouldn't watch Better Call Saul before I watched Breaking Bad. There are obviously exceptions, but as a general rule, I prefer a story to push forward, and so in watching it in this order, I imagine I'm gonna have the story push forward. But you also have to understand, I was doing all of this research while trying to avoid getting spoiled, and I succeeded. I didn't get spoiled on anything. All I know about the Fate series is what I knew about the Fate series before deciding to start watching this. So yeah, I know. I just wanted to get all of that out of the way. And also, while people are already going to be mad about something, I'm also watching the English dub. I prefer English dub for a decent amount of shows. And it depends on the show, obviously. But I feel like this show, I've heard good things about the dub. I think I know some people who are in the dub. I'm excited for it, so I'm going to be watching the English dub. Anyway. All your hate comments can be promptly ignored. But if you have positive things to say, I'd love to read them in the comments below. Fate! Now, what do I actually know about the series? I think it's a series that has, like, historical figures in it, but, like, in a fictional setting. Like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, King Arthur or whatever is the main woman, the blonde-haired woman. I think it's King Arthur? I can't quite remember. I don't know much about history in general. So if you're going to be like, oh, do you recognize this historical figure? The answer is going to be no. I don't. I'm really terrible with history. So I'm not going to be able to like pick up on historical references or anything that's happening at all while the series is going on. My specialty is fiction and characters and character development. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of that to really dive into. But I'm guessing this series is like, it takes sort of historical characters but animeifies them and puts it in a series with, I'm guessing, magic. I don't know why I think that, but I think this series has magic or something in it. But maybe that's just because the animation looks so colorful that I can't imagine it not having some form of magic. I don't know. No idea. But yeah, anyway, the purpose is I'm going to be watching Fate Zero and then Fate Unlimited Blade Works and then the movies, I think there are 3 movies or something. And that's my plan. I know there's a lot of other Fate stuff that I can take in. And currently I have no plans to do that, but who knows? Sometimes I fall in love with these sorts of series and I go all in on it. And so we have to see how much I like this series before we start making plans for anything else. Whoo, okay. Now I know this might have been a bad first impression of my channel. It might have made me sound very defensive off the bat for comments that have not happened. You have to understand, over the past however long I've done this channel, whenever I start a series and there's like a controversial decision early on, sometimes people get very, very annoyed very early on. So I wanted to make sure that I got all that information out there early. Normally it's about English dubs. People get very angry when I do English dubs. But then normally by 1 or 2 episodes in, those people have gone away and it's way better in the comment section. So it should be fine from here on out now that people will be settling into it. But we're going to be watching Fate Zero. I'm really excited. I'm pretty sure this first episode's like 50 minutes. So yeah, it is. So I really got to strap in. I'm kind of nervous because I don't know how like narrative heavy this series is going to be and how much I'm going to like have to try to take in. So I'm going to try my best, and if I get lost, if I get full behind, then I'll try my best to catch up where I can. So Fate Zero, let's jump into this. Make sure to support the video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And this is an early access show, which means you can get the next episode of Fate Zero on my Patreon account right now. So go check that out in the description below. It also has the full-length version. It's one and the same. The early access is a full-length edition. You just sync it up with your own footage, and you can watch the whole episode with me. But I also have a Jent Watches One Piece channel if you like One Piece. Let's jump into Fate Zero. This is episode 1. Here we go. I know it's crazy to say, but it already feels like Ufotable. I know we've just had a black screen so far.
Master
8 years ago.
She's so cute. She's adorable. Look, Kiritsugu. She
Kiritsugu?
has your eyes too. She's beautiful.
Go look at your child,
I'm so happy
dude.
that I could give birth to her.
I will be the cause of your death.
Oh?
You offered me a better life than that of a simple puppet.
Hey.
You needn't pity me, because I am part of you already.
Well, she seems to have accepted it.
So,
But I have no right to hold that child.
Mm-mm.
None.
Cool tattoo? Is that what that is?
8 more years, and your fight will come to an end. And our ideal will become reality. The Holy Grail will save you.
The Holy Grail.
Tonight.
Okay.
And hold her close.
Ilias.
Hold her like any other father would be.
Yeah, do it. Take your child. This is reminding me of Kyros from One Piece. Oh, the animation. Holy shit, man. This is all pre-Demon Slayer, so probably not going to be as refined, but it still looks great. 3 years ago in Italy.
Command seal. The mark identifies you as a participant in the Holy Grail War. A stigmata
Holy Grail
bestowing
War.
upon you the power to command a servant. Kire Kotamine.
Okay, command a
Holy
servant
Grail
with the
War.
marks.
Those chosen by the Grail as masters for the servants are experienced and accomplished mages. It is highly
Okay, mages, there
unusual
is
for
magic.
someone like you, who whatsoever, to be chosen to participate.
Oh.
I still find it strange to command the summoned spirits of ancient heroes to fight as familiars.
Summoned
course.
spirits of
I know
ancient
all this can be
heroes?
very difficult to believe. Heroes from every age and nation will come back to life in the modern world,
Whoa.
killing one another to vie for supremacy.
You can
That
just
is the Holy
summon
Grail War.
like Hitler and
Also,
stuff?
there is an unspoken agreement among all involved.
No, ancient
Keep this all
heroes, not
secret.
Hitler.
And so once again, just as we did some 60 years ago, we've recruited your father to watch over and referee our battle.
My
Okay.
father will be coming to Fuyuki? It's a conflict of interest for the Overseer's child to also be a participant.
You'd think.
Listen, I've introduced you to Mr. Tokiomi Tosaka here today.
Oh my god, so many names already.
Actually, is not the sacred relic that belonged to the Son of God.
What?
Be that as it may, Fuyuki's Holy Grail is far too powerful to ignore. It is an omnipotent wish-granting device.
Whoa!
Who knows what disaster it could unleash, should it happen to fall into the wrong
Oh,
hands.
I do like stories with
In which
wish granting
case,
things.
The best
Friendship with the Church. We know what kind of person Tokiomi is, and more important than anything
Stop
else,
circling
the
him.
Tosaka's ultimate intentions for the Grail are plain and honorable.
that is the Tosaka family's sole
To
desire.
reach the root?
And have other less altruistic plans now.
It goes without saying that the plans of the,
The
other
circling.
masters will be even worse.
I assume that the goal of my participation is to ensure Tokiomi Tosaka's victory, rather than to prevail myself.
Okay.
We will actually be working together in total secrecy to soundly defeat the other 5 masters
Okay.
and assure our victory in the end.
I'm understanding so far. It's a lot
so
of
curious.
exposition, but I'm understanding.
You will be to command a servant in the Holy Grail War in 3 years' time when the battles begin.
Okay, Jesus. That's a lot.
Now, the exact criteria it uses is unknown, but it chooses those masters who need it most.
Okay.
So all the participating
So
masters
we don't know.
have a reason.
There were cases where command seals appeared on those whom you would never have expected.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect Kirei to give his consent so quickly.
My son would jump into fire if the Holy Church ordered him to do so.
Jeez.
To be honest,
Perhaps this ordeal will do him some good. Only a few days ago, my son lost his wife.
Oh, what?
I believe that a complete change of scenery and a
That-
difficult new mission to
that
focus
fucking
on
sucks.
may be exactly what he needs to nurse his wounds.
Jesus. I'm sorry, dude. Okay, 1 year ago in Japan. This show is not giving me any time to breathe.
Yeah, I guess it did.
Uncle Karia!
Oh! This girl!
Welcome back!
I can see her hair. Yeah! Reen!
Did you bring me
I've seen her design a lot.
No, Reen. You're being very rude.
Obviously, older though, is I've seen her like as an adult or a teen or something.
You are very welcome, Reen. I'm glad you like it.
Sakura's gone now.
Oh my god.
What did she mean?
This-
Sakura is...
This guy sounds like
she's
Liam
no longer
O'Brien.
my daughter or Reen's little sister. The Mato family.
Okay, that can just
why?
happen.
Want a child who carries in them the blood of a mage.
Did
You
they
know
buy her?
that better than anyone else. Osaka family decided to give our ancient allies, the Matos, that which they requested. It wasn't my place to speak out.
Jesus, that fucking
You're all right with
sucks.
that?
When I decided to marry a mage, I knew what might be required of me.
That's.
You're all right
you-
with
but
that?
you gave up a
The
child.
reality is, this is between the Tosakas and the Matos. You left the world of mages a long time ago. This doesn't concern you. She was always very fond of you.
Oh, he's fucking pissed about this.
Failure actually had the nerve to show his face here. Then you have sharp ears.
Is it really so important?
It
to the
sounds-
mages
I
and the
think it is
Mato
Liam
leaders
O'Brien.
that you have to do this.
That's
Would
crazy.
you tell me we're wrong and to learn the secrets of the Mato, things would never have gotten this bad and that little girl would still be with her mother.
Jesus.
You're not fooling anyone, you vampire. You just want to live forever.
Shit. Who does he look like? He reminds me of.
Nearly 60 years have passed since the last time the Masters gathered.
He looks like the guy in
The
Ace
Matos
Attorney
have no
Investigations
pawns
2.
yet to offer.
So then, in other words, if you can get your hands on the Grail, you won't need Sakura Tosaka anymore.
What is it you are scheming, Karya?
So he's gonna get the Grail for you?
Trade, Zokan.
Oh god.
Next year, I will return from the Grail War, Grail in hand.
Oh shit.
And in return,
You give
will
Sakura
release
back?
Sakura.
You actually believe that in a single year you'll achieve the power to control a servant?
You have the using your special worm techniques.
Worm techniques? Like Baldur's Gate 3? He puts a worm in your brain?
You can implant me with your crest worms.
Oh, Jesus. Crest worms.
You want to die. I'm afraid you're a little late.
You bastard! You didn't.
Oh! Oh!
For the first
Is that
3
Sakura?
days, nothing but constantly scream her head off.
Jesus.
But on the early this morning, I threw her down into the worm pit to see just how long she lasts.
Oh, I hate this.
Tosakas have very powerful inner spirits.
Sakura!
What will you do now?
Jesus.
She's a broken little girl, ripped from the life she knew, and violated by worms from head to toe.
Oh,
But if you
fucking
still
hell.
wish to save
That's
her from this
disgusting.
ordeal,
I agree.
Oh.
but I intend to continue her education. Still expect to achieve victory in the next war 60 years from now.
Okay.
But should you leave the Grail in this war, all the better.
I'm
Naturally,
kind of invested in this
I
story.
need the girl in that case.
Okay, alright,
Finally
alright.
here.
This is crazy.
It's a report from the spies I sent to the London clock tower. It says that the Grail
Is that
shows
Matt
a master from
Mercer?
within the tower, a 9th generation mage. Cainith, El Malloy, Archibald.
Cainith. Oh my
In the
gosh,
world
okay,
of
present day.
mages, it would allow one to overcome any difference in inherent ability. In short, even someone with diluted blood could, through his own efforts, become a master mage.
And he's gonna debunk
To
that
be honest,
here and now.
I've learned something from reading this. I will be perfectly frank. This paper is nothing but immature
Yeah.
juvenile fantasies.
Of course.
This is a hard and unchanging reality of this world.
Oh.
Even for you, Waver Velvet.
Waver
I am
Velvet?
very disappointed. Don't you think a baby should learn to speak before it tries to voice an opinion?
Jesus, man. Hey!
He made a fool of me. He made a fool of me. He made a fool
Is this
of me.
Johnny Young Bosch? Wow, this is a
Wait for
great
it to
cast.
Just make sure he gets it. It's supposed to be important.
I think that's Carl Herbert, that voice actor there. I know I'm pointing out all the voice actors. It's just crazy how many of them I know.
So it seems that all the rumors about that bastard Kenneth Archibald preparing to fight in some kind of mages tournament in the Far East soon are true.
Mm-hmm.
The Einsburns, the Makiris, and the Tosakas, collectively known as the Three First Families, worked together to summon the Holy Grail. But the Holy Grail would only grant one of the family's supplications.
Yep.
That was the beginning of the Holy Grail Wars.
I like this
Ever since
concept a
then,
lot.
Once the Holy Grail appears in the city of Fuyuki,
Whoa.
it selects 7 mages from across the globe to compete for it and grants them powers.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Each
That's a
magically
cool
summons
concept.
A heroic archer, saber, lancer,
Whoa.
rider, assassin, caster, berserker. Is a battle of pure strength, where stupid titles and influence mean absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it's the perfect place for me.
You're gonna go to the Grail War?
Wait.
As just
in
the
order to summon
student?
a servant, a relic.
Needs a relic. Is that a relic? Did you find one already? Ugh. Is that blood or is that a cloth or what? That's a really cool machine.
That device
I mean,
strikes me as
it's just a
being
printer,
indecent.
but it's cool.
The ones it selects to round out the group are, well, often weak and inexperienced.
Hmm.
Don't concern yourself.
People are watching me or this mansion right now. On that.
You have my guarantee.
Whoa.
No matter what tricks or deception they use.
What the fuck?
No one. The spy heroic spirit.
Whoa.
There is no trace
Spy
of anyone
heroic
following my master or watching this house. Please, you can put your mind at ease.
Interesting.
Assassin, you may go. Continue guarding the surrounding area.
So that's the assassin.
As you wish.
A family notoriously proud of their pure blood suddenly allowed an outsider mage to marry into the family.
Mm-hmm.
Was perfect for their needs. Kiritsugu Emiya.
Mm-hmm.
The man known as the Mage Killer.
Mage Killer? Oh my god. This is fucking this. I've got so many notes.
We've been searching for in Cornwall, all widely considered the strongest of all known sword-wielding servants.
Is it going to be the King Arthur?
You are to hunt down the 6 other servants and eliminate them.
Damn,
Fulfill the third
this is
magic,
cool.
Heaven's Feel.
Heaven's Feel? That's the name of one of the things.
Kiritsugu
Of the movies or
Emiya.
something.
Freelance master assassin who specializes in exterminating mages. He knows
Cool.
what mages are capable of, so he deals with them in a way that is as unlike a mage as possible.
There's some cool character concepts here.
Read that.
I like it.
Sniping. He once brought down an entire jetliner just because his target was on it.
Damn.
A man who will do anything without a second thought.
But he has
It
a
is
weakness
because
in his
mages
daughter or
function
whatever,
outside
right?
the laws of the regular world.
By hiring himself out as a killer.
Money, I would imagine.
They
As you can read
imagine.
in that report,
So does it actually relate to his
he's been
family, his
involved in
wife
more
and
than
kid?
just mage assassinations, offering his services as a mercenary.
I see. May I borrow this for a while?
Hey, there's an actual printer right there.
That old man must be desperate. Kenneth Malloy Archibald.
Kenneth, yep.
Wind and water affinity. And next.
Kiritsugu Emiya.
And
Newest
you.
member of the Einsburn family and their trump card. And the man that I love.
Don't get sappy, lady.
And the 4th master.
Graduated from the St. Ignatius School of Divinity, Manresa. Skipped 2 years. Graduated
Impressive? Yeah.
He was even an inquisitor.
An inquisitor?
A heretic hunter.
Hmm.
Exactly what I was. A ruthless mage killer.
Okay.
These were clearly the actions of a man bent on suicide. So then why is he doing this?
Alchemy, necromancy.
They're really trying to
summoning,
figure each other
divination,
out.
Healing. He gets almost to the point of mastery of a discipline, then switches to another field.
Sometimes you do that. Mastery is kind of annoying.
This man, Kire Kotomine, terrifies me.
Oh.
He has no concept of self-interest.
These two are like
His actions
destined
are
rivals.
Completely disconnected from any thought of risk versus reward.
A man like that.
Then, what is he after?
Why would he put his life at risk?
Are they gonna come to the
Holy
same
Grail?
realization?
But the Grail chose him to be one of its
They're
seven
both gonna
masters
think it's
for
because
this
of
war.
their wife.
You're right. He must have some reason we don't know about to want the Grail. But I can't even begin to imagine what it is.
It's love.
And that.
What was he looking for? And what exactly did he find?
Okay. Jesus, man. This show is fucking intense so far. There's so much to take in.
I'll give you that much, Karia.
Did Kadia's hair change?
You look like bloody hell.
Oh my gosh.
Is your...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I hate that.
Now, you know if you get the crest worms inside you worked up too much, they'll simply devour you.
Jesus, this is
Either
awful.
way, I'd give you perhaps a month at best before they do their damage and drain the life out of you.
Oh,
That's plenty.
I want to throw
What
up.
did you say? Don't let your loving father's kindness go to waste.
Some cool crests. Okay.
I did it!
This
I've
guy's
got a
got the
command
crest.
seal too!
Yep.
The
Although,
Grail
yeah,
chose
sorry.
me as
the
a
seals.
master. I have to prepare to summon my servant.
Who's your servant gonna be? I'm excited to see the servants. Because I'm pretty sure one of them is gonna be the blonde King Arthur or whatever she is.
Dear.
But I don't know any others.
I've heard roosters making a big racket since the sun came up this morning. What's that all about?
It's roosters, that's what they do.
There. Waver, what happened to your hand?
Nothing?
You didn't have that mark on your hand yesterday.
It's a temporary tattoo, mother.
Have some coffee. I put lots of milk in
Are
it.
you going to explain?
You two like coffee,
Oh my god.
right?
He's trying to change the subject? Or he's gonna show off powers or something. Oh, what?
Pain in the ass. Do I have to start their hypnosis all over again?
Oh, he
Can you bring
hypnotized
my
them.
grandson back from abroad?
Jeez.
I need to think of a cover story for those roosters I stole too.
Just like in the legend surrounding its existence, it heals its owner's wounds and halts
Whoa.
the aging process.
That's
Of
cool.
course,
And that goes for the servant, too. No matter how famous the heroic spirit, when summoned as a servant, they're nothing but a tool for their master.
Okay.
What do you think?
does his gift not satisfy you?
He doesn't.
Of course it does.
He's not the kind that's gonna be
Did a wonderful
jumping up and
job.
down in joy.
Not the one we're after. Will surely respond to the summons.
Uh-huh.
The King of Knights.
Yep.
Arthur Pendragon.
There we go. King
My
Arthur.
own compatibility with him is a secondary concern.
Him?
What good will it do to worry about that before you've even summoned him? After all, we don't know what the King of Knights was like.
So,
And besides, no matter what your strategy
I guess
is,
King Arthur was actually a
once he
woman,
learns
but
of
no
your
one
ideals,
knows?
Of your dream, just like I did.
That is assuming that the blonde girl is King Arthur, but I have that in my mind
What is it?
from somewhere,
I've
so
found
I imagine
my
it's true.
strategy. The strongest servant fighting in the battle.
Rin.
Hello, Reen.
I feel like Rin's gonna be like my favorite character in future series.
Heading out?
I can talk about
That's
that
some
later.
heavy luggage you have there.
Right. I have to go live with the Zenjo family for a while. Will you promise to protect my father to the end? Will you promise to keep him safe?
I'm sorry, but that's impossible.
No,
If this battle were
child.
going to be simple enough that I could honestly make that promise, we wouldn't have to send you or
He's-
your mother away from here to keep you safe and
He's very
sound.
straightforward.
I guess that means I just can't like you no matter what. If If you somehow get sloppy and because of that my father gets hurt or worse, I'll show you no mercy.
She's already one of my favorite characters.
Oh, she was just giving me a bit of encouragement before we said goodbye. You to carry alone.
No, thank you. I'll carry it myself.
Please don't worry.
Excuse
She's
me.
great.
Boar finally arrived this morning. Have a look.
Let me see the relic.
What is
Ugh.
A fossil.
What?
Of the very first skin shed by a snake on
Oh.
this world.
Oh, I hate it.
If total victory is as good as ours.
Okay. Oh, you have a
Hey,
significant
Sakura.
design. Oh.
Did I startle you?
Huh? That's Sakura?
Uncle Karia, you're turning into a different person, aren't you?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
He's turning into like an aged Gojo.
No, I don't have to go to the worm pit again tonight.
Yay!
My father said that
I have an important job that I need to do for a while. I might not have much time to talk to you then.
But then you might be able to go
At
home.
least until I get back. When my job is finally over, you want to go somewhere and just have fun?
Aww.
With your mom and your sister, too.
Oh,
have anyone I can call mom or sister.
that's sad.
Grandfather said that I should just think of them like they never existed.
Jesus.
I see.
Back to the worm pit, little girl. Oh, give her a hug. Oh,
All right, then.
that's
When this
cute.
is all over, and go somewhere as far away from this place as we can get. We can hang out and have fun.
Does that mean I'll see them again?
Yeah, you will. You have my word on that.
Interesting to have like no pupils in her eyes. Makes her just like look so
Bye, Uncle Karia.
so empty.
Bye-bye.
Oh.
By attempting to modify the servant's class as much as possible.
Okay.
Karia,
I'm trying to
that
follow.
end, insanity to the servant you
What?
summoned today.
But that sounds awful. Jesus.
5 times, but when each is filled,
This guy
destroy.
is insane.
For the elements,
I have a
silver
bad
and
feeling about him.
foundation stone and the
I think he's gonna
arch
be
of
like the most
paths.
fucked up
And
one.
for my great master, and close the gates of 4 directions. Come forth from the crown and follow the.
Are we gonna
fourth
see all
road
the
leading
servants?
To the kingdom.
Is a simple ritual like this?
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Doesn't require a big, elaborate evocation.
Uh-huh.
The actual summoning is performed by the Grail itself. My job as a master
Okay.
is to anchor the heroic spirit in this world.
You're just giving it a
Supply
place to
with
go.
enough mana to take physical form.
Okay.
That is the final step.
Oh, I'm pretty hyped.
My will creates your body, and obey my will and reason. Then answer my summoning.
Okay.
I hereby swear that I shall
I'm expecting
do all the
he's
good
gonna
in the
get
world.
King Arthur, obviously.
I shall defeat
Because they were talking about
all evil in the
him.
world.
Thou who art trapped in a cage of madness, and I the summoner
Oh.
who holds thy chains.
Jesus.
Clad in the great words of power.
This is so epic.
From the circle of binding.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh? Whoa. Oh, show me all their designs, please.
We have won the battle.
Oh. Okay, you think this is the best one? Whoa. Cool.
Impossible.
I ask you,
Yeah, this is it. Yes.
are you worthy to
Yes.
be my master?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am. Holy shit. Why is there a time? Oh, is that the time until the battle? Oh, is this the OP? I've already seen the OP technically, but I don't remember it. Fate Zero. Oh my god. Visuals are making sense to me now. I'm not gonna look too hard at the visuals yet. I love it, because this is a Lisa song, right? Yeah, it is. Oath Sign. Oh, I love Lisa so much. Like, I'm not super looking at the visuals, but it looks pretty awesome so far. This song is cool. Now I'm flipping back through my notes because I'm trying to see, like I'm flipping through my entire notebook that I use for every show on this channel, because I believe this show might have set the new record for most notes taken in a single episode of something ever. I think it has, because my notes, I've got 1.5 pages of notes here, like that and that. Right? I've got a lot of notes here. I think for one episode of an anime, that is the most, like, you know, there'll be like a One Piece video or something where I will have more notes than that, but a video consists of like 3 or 4 episodes of One Piece. And then there's like some other stuff which comes close-ish. Like recently, Apothecary Diaries, when I started that, I took a lot of notes on that. And some episodes of Fallout I took a lot of notes on. Like there's definitely other stuff that I've taken lots of notes on, but I don't know if it's ever... ReZero is another big one. ReZero Season 3 Episode 1 I took a lot of notes on, but that was also like an 1.5 hour episode. This is like 40-something minutes. But yeah, I took so many notes on this. Now, obviously, most of them is just me writing down names. So I don't write down names necessarily to be able to refer to them. I write down names mostly, like part of it is to be able to refer back to them, but the main reason I do it is like in writing down the names, sometimes that helps it to cement more in my mind. So I think I have a few more names that are more in mind because of that. But I took a lot because this was possibly one of the densest first episodes of a show I've seen in a long time. It was so, like, I'm not using this as an insult. I'm, in fact, maybe kind of using this as a compliment. It was so exposition heavy, this episode. Now, the reason I say I may be using it as a compliment is because, like, I really enjoyed it. And it didn't feel, like, I didn't feel, like, annoyed that it was throwing so much exposition at me or anything. I was having fun with it. But I was, like, at the very start of the episode, when they first... Like, there was the initial scene of... This is gonna start. Let's see how many names I can get. Emiya. His name is Emiya Kiritsuku. The initial scene of, like, him and his, I imagine, wife in the bed, like, with the bed and the baby and all of that. That initial scene, I was listening to that and I was like, okay, they're saying a lot of stuff that is gonna happen, but this is, like... This is sort of dialogue that it's not really for me to understand yet. This is like to hint at stuff to come. So I knew, like, okay, this kind of thing happens at the start of a lot of shows where they'll just say some things that are kind of like ominous and foreboding and telling you that there's stuff that's coming, right? And then, so I wasn't worried then. It was when, let's check the names. It was when Kirei started having that conversation with Tokiomi, I believe, or Tokyo. Yeah, no, Tokyo Mito or something. Anyway, Tokyo, I believe, is his name. It's when he started having the conversation with Kirei, and they were like actually explaining the plot of the show. That I was like, oh no. I have to really pay attention, which, like, this is something that I get nervous about. So I got very, very anxious because I was really enjoying it, but I was also like, I can't stop listening for a second. Which, by the way, thank freaking, like, all that is holy that I am watching this show in dub. If I was watching this in sub, I guarantee you I would have picked up half as much of the story as I did watching it in dub. It's so much easier when, one, they're speaking a language you understand, and dub scripts are generally pretty good at localizing explanations of things in such a way that it sounds more natural so your brain can understand it more. So for, like, very plot-heavy shows or, like, narrative-heavy or exposition-heavy shows, I do way prefer watching it in dub because it's so much easier to process that information when they're speaking your language. And two, because I had to write so many notes. If I also had to be looking up at subtitles and looking down and looking up at subtitles and stuff, I would have failed at doing one or the other. Like, I would have been missing a lot of lines that were being said, and I would have been missing a lot of notes that I could have been taking. So thank goodness I made the decision to watch this in dub. Oh my god. Anyway, so I really like this concept. I really do. Now that I've gotten out of the way, like, that there was a lot of information to take in, I think I actually got it. I think, so I'm gonna go out on a limb. This is something that I get nervous about, is like, sometimes I want to talk about the plot, but I don't know if I fully understood it. I'm just going to try to tank the embarrassment of, like, I might get this wrong. And so people are just going to be like, you didn't understand this at all. I'm going to tank that embarrassment just in case, because I want to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about what I think the story is from what I've been listening to throughout this. And then I'm sure people in the comments could tell me, like, hey, you didn't understand it. Here's actually what the story or what they were saying here or whatever. But I do want to say, if there's stuff that, like, that they've only hinted at, but, like, hasn't been explicitly said or whatever, like, just let the show tell me as it comes through, you know? Like, if it's gonna be something that the characters will go over later, then just wait. You're allowed to, like, let me have misconceptions if they end up serving the show later on, or the show clarifies it a bit better later on. You don't have to clarify it then. So basically, there's something called the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail was summoned by these 3 families, I believe. The Tosaka family, the Einsburns, and someone else. I didn't write down the other family name, I don't think. But there were 3 families. They went to summon this, this Holy Grail. And then the Holy Grail is like a powerful artifact that can, like, grant a wish. But the problem is, like, once it appeared, it's like, well, we're only going to grant a wish to one family's wish. So they basically, those families, like, went at war, and the Holy Grail, like, decides on 7 people to be marked with the it's not a crest. I was calling it a crest. It's not a crest. It's a command seal. They're marked with the command seals, which allows them to be the master of servants. And the servants are ancient warriors that you summon from ancient times or whatever to fight for you. And so yeah, there are these, like, 7 people that are chosen to do this. And then whoever wins this war or whatever will get the Holy Grail and get the wish. And then however many years later, I forgot how many years they said, but however many years later, another Holy Grail appears. So it happens every however long, right? So already, that's a really cool concept. I love the idea of, like, wish granting being a part of, like, stories. I really liked Puss in Boots: The Last Wish being about, you know, everyone fighting for a wish. I love the concept as I know it of Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure that's what Dragon Ball is. It's like you get all the Dragon Balls and you get a wish, right? The dragon appears and gives you a wish or something. I've never seen Dragon Ball stuff in its entirety. I've only ever seen, like, either clips of Dragon Ball or Meteor Osmosis, or I've played the video game sometimes, but I've never actually seen the show from start to finish. But I'm pretty sure that's the concept of Dragon Ball, and I've always liked that concept. There's lots of other stuff, but I think there's some really interesting things you can do with the idea of everyone wants a wish, because there's a lot of, like, interesting character motivations you can have, and also I think the fun thing about wish concepts is how you conclude it. Like, who gets the wish, you know, and who deserves it. And what I think is really cool about this setup is they've shown me these different characters so far, and I'm seeing their motivations and stuff. But to me, there isn't, like, a clear, oh, this guy's the good guy and this guy's the one who's going to get it in the end, you know? I think the closest thing we maybe have to the protagonist of this right now is Emiya, who to me, like, that it felt like they were focusing a little bit more on in a protagonist sense, because like obviously he was the first one we saw, firstly, and secondly he has King Arthur, who they one made the biggest deal of at the end of the episode, and two, I recognize that character the most. So like, because she's like on the posters and stuff, so I think she's probably the most important one. So I feel like he's probably, excuse me, the closest thing to a protagonist. Now, I also know there's a character, and I don't know, I imagine he's in the actual Unlimited Blade Works. I imagine he's in that series, but I know there's a character with like red hair or whatever, and he's like he looks like, I kind of remember him because he kind of looks like a standard dude, like a regular dude with like red hair. And I think he's the people die when they're killed meme, I think. I'm imagining that's in the main series, like in Unlimited Blade Works. I'm guessing, like here's just from me watching this one episode and my media osmosis, like what I've taken in about the series over time. I think he's kind of closer to a protagonist, but they didn't introduce him here. I don't think he's going to be in this series. So I'm imagining, because this is a prequel, who we're following here with Emiya, maybe he's the previous wielder, summoner of King Arthur, and maybe in the next series that we watch, that redhead kid is going to be the summoner of King Arthur, and it's going to be like, maybe Emiya is going to be like a mentor to him or something. I don't know. Or Emiya is going to be dead. I have no idea. I really have no idea. And I don't know how much longer it takes place after it. I'm going to imagine it's like the next war. Now, I don't remember what they said, if they said 20 years or 30 years or 6 years or whatever, however many years it is between the wars. I'll have to go back and re-look at that info. But whatever it is, I imagine Unlimited Blade Works takes place at the next war. So this is the previous war, and we're seeing what happened then. It's kind of cool as well, because it kind of means, I mean, depending on where they take it, you could have these characters, you could have the series go on for a long time, just continuously having the war happen over and over again. And that would be very interesting, I think. So, anyway, I'm speculating about the next series already, and I shouldn't. I should focus on this series. So, yeah, what I like is that we've gotten to see a lot of these, different characters. I don't know who would win this, and I don't know who we're even supposed to be rooting for. Like, as I said, I think Emiya is the closest thing to a protagonist, but I don't know if I want to root for this guy or not. Yeah, like, I appreciate, it seems like they were speculating Emiya and... I'm trying to get his name before I look at my notes. Kire? Is that what his name is? Yeah, I think so. Kire. So Emiya and Kire were speculating a lot about each other, and they were trying to figure out, like, what each other's motivations were. So, I think Emiya's motivation is probably his family, and Kire's motivation, I'm guessing, is also to do with, like, didn't they say his wife died or something? So I'm thinking, like, maybe that's also part of his motivation. So, and the reason I say that is because they were doing, like, parallels between those two characters throughout the scene, and I was thinking, okay, they're doing these parallels, trying to figure out each other's motivation, so wouldn't it be, like, nicely ironic if they had the same motivation? They're both doing it for their family, and they just can't comprehend that the other person would have that motivation, because you don't really see the other person as much as, like, a human. You know what I mean? That could be what's going on there. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that's really interesting. We have the kid whose name is, do I have it somewhere? Yeah, it's something Velvet, right? Waver Velvet. that kid seems like he's gonna be very fucked up to me. Like, he was in a college class. It seems like he's part of a lower ranked family, like a family that doesn't have as much magical power because they've only been mages for 3 generations or something. So because he doesn't have much magic, or because that they don't have much status, he's trying to like prove that mages of like lesser blood can still be like as strong or whatever. And the professor's like, no, you're a fucking idiot. Everyone laugh at him and everyone goes, ha 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 ha. And then he like goes away, right? He gives me vibes of like Syndrome, is that what his name is, in Incredibles? Like that sort of vibe where it's like, I've been mocked for trying to, you know, be a hero, trying to do the right thing. Like, fuck all you guys, I'm going to take it into my own hands. And then he does fucked up shit with it, right? That's the kind of vibe I've gotten, because he immediately, like, we see him, he's like super excited about the idea of like getting the mark, and then he's hypnotizing these people, and he's stealing peacocks. I didn't know why he's stealing peacocks, but he's stealing peacocks. And then he's like, he created that summoning circle or whatever, and he did it with like blood of rabbits or something. I saw like a pile of dead rabbit bodies or something. So it seems like he's like, it's pretty fucked up, because the other people, we saw their summoning circles. I didn't see piles of dead rabbits with them. In fact, with Emiya, she was like, his wife was like, is this circle, like, is that all? It's pretty simple. And he's like, yeah, like, the circle doesn't matter that much. Like, the circle can kind of just be a simple summoning circle, because the Holy Grail is the one providing the actual magic. I'm just, like, making the form of the person. So, because of that, it makes me think maybe you don't need to use the blood of rabbits, and that was a choice. That was a decision that he made. Or maybe it's like an archaic way to do it that he read in a book or whatever. But just to have just to be able to make that circle with all the fucking rabbits, and also just still be so excited and happy about it, is kind of crazy. So it makes me think he's going to be really fucked up. And he might be like one of the more dangerous ones, because he may have less to lose. I don't know. And then there's Karia, who I am very attached to Karia, because Karia's motivation is for a young girl that he's trying to save, and that's a motivation I'm invested in. I really like that. Now, speaking of young girl, Rin Tosaka. I know her. She's one of the only other characters I know. The characters that I know in Fate, I mean, like, I've seen a lot of them before. Like, I've seen all the openings and stuff, right? I took in some of the characters, but the only ones I really remember are King Arthur, the guy with the red hair, and Rin. Those are the main 3 that I remember. And in fact, I think there's a guy with like brown skin that I remember, but I can't quite put it in my head what he looks like. But Rin, the reason I remember her is, one, I've always liked her design the most out of everyone that I've seen in the cast. And I'm talking about the Rin I imagine in the next series, an older version of Rin. But I always liked her design. I love like that hairstyle in anime characters. Also, I think she's like more of a tsundere type character, and I do like that character type. And so far, I mean, just seeing her as a kid, like that she seemed already like bratty, and that was very funny to me. So I think I'm gonna really like her character a lot. And yeah, I mean, oh man, there's a lot here. So I want to find out the voice actors. Is Liam O'Brien, first of all, the voice of whoever I thought he was the voice of, Karia, right? Liam O'Brien. I'm just gonna go Liam O'Brien, my anime list, and just see. I'm trying to do this in the most spoiler-free way possible. And then I'm gonna search Fate. Yes, Karia. Cool. Good to know that I also spelled his name wrong, but that's fine. It's got a Y in there. I did it without the Y. Okay, Liam O'Brien, yes. Next, Matt Mercer. Is Matt Mercer the voice of who did I think he was the voice of? I thought he was the voice of Emiya. Let's find that out now. Fate Emiya. Yes, indeed he is. Okay, great. Was there anyone else I wanted to find out the voice of? I don't think so. So far, those are the main two that I was like, hang on, those voices. I think for certain of them. Obviously, I'm a Critical Role fan, so I love those people and know their voices well. But also, I'm an English dub fan, so I generally will recognize some of the bigger named English dub voice actors, and I can't help it while I'm watching shows like get excited about, because I didn't look up the cast list before I started this, but I remembered that it had a good cast list. I didn't remember that Liam fucking O'Brien is in it. That's really cool, because Liam O'Brien isn't in a crazy amount. I think what he's most famous for anime wise is Naruto stuff, but I've never watched Naruto, so I don't really get to celebrate that. So like, other than that, you know, I don't get to hear Liam O'Brien in anime very often. I hear him a lot in video games and stuff like that. He does like League of Legends stuff and so much other, like Doctor Strange and Marvel Rivals, lots of other stuff. But like he, but I don't get to hear him in anime very often. So I'm really excited to do this because I love his voice. I think it's great. And the character feels like a Liam O'Brien type character in that he seems like he's like kind of badass and you can have some badass lines, but he's got this like emotion to him, like a very caring side to him that comes out. Like Liam O'Brien is very good at emotional manliness. That is a very specific like niche that I think that he shows, where it's like he is like, I'd never doubt his character's masculinity while he's being one of the most emotional characters on screen. And like, not that I'm too attached to the idea of masculinity in general, but I do think there's something cool about masculinity when done right. And when you can perfectly blend masculinity with emotionality and show how the emotionality feeds into the masculinity, feeds into the emotionality, and it goes in a cycle. If you can like portray that in voice acting, it's great. Liam O'Brien is really, really good at doing that. And I mean, I think in Campaign 3, I'm not caught up with Campaign 3 of Critical Role, but I think his character in Campaign 3 is the perfect example of that. He's like a very masculine character, but he's a very, very emotional character as well. And I like that too. So, yeah. I think... is that all I want to talk about? There's so many notes. Let me just like look through them real quick. He had to add insanity to his summoning. I don't know what that's gonna do, but that's it. Very interesting. The worms, I hated the worms. Everything to do with the worms in this. It reminded me of Baldur's Gate 3, and it was like maybe even worse. It was like, ugh, I hated that. But I loved it. Like, it's really cool, and it's like a great, disgusting concept, but it is disgusting. Anything else? I don't think so. My voice is kind of hurting now as well, but I'm really excited to watch next episode. I'm really interested. I'm scared because there was so much lore, but that was a pretty solid introduction to this series, and I'm down for it. So thank you for watching. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Go to my Patreon account if you want not only the full-length reaction, which I recommend for this series, because it feels like there's going to be a lot of just me listening, which isn't going to make as many of the edits. And early access, which means you can get next episode of Fate Zero on my Patreon account right now. So go check that out. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.